Hello, I'm Claire Morrison, Election Information Services Director with the League of Women Voters of the Comal Area. And this is a recorded forum with candidates for New Braunfels Mayor on the May 2nd, 2026 ballot. The candidates for mayor are Angela Allen, Jonathan Paul Frazier, Michael French, and Neil Lenartz. Two of the four candidates are participating today. So thank you to Mr. French and Mr. Lenartz for providing voters with this opportunity to learn more about them as candidates. Before we start, a few comments about the League and the forum structure. The League of Women Voters is a nonprofit, nonpartisan 501c3 that does not support or oppose any candidate or political party. Our mission is to empower voters and defend democracy. We envision a democracy in which every person has the desire, the right, the knowledge, and the confidence to participate. In this forum, our goal is to give each candidate the opportunity to state what they think and what they plan to do if elected. To begin, each candidate in alphabetical order will have an opportunity to make a 1-minute opening statement. The moderator will then direct questions to the candidates in rotating order. Candidates should respond to the question by discussing the issues and not their opponent. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. At the end, each candidate will have 1 minute to make closing remarks. This forum is being recorded and will be posted to the Comal Area League's YouTube channel. Mr. French, we will start with your 1-minute opening statement.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for this forum here. It's pretty important. My name is Michael French. I'm running for mayor, and I was a U.S. Army veteran of 17 years, and I deployed to Central and South America. I did a little bit of humanitarian missions. I deployed for the White House Communications Agency. I provided communications for the president, the vice president, the Secret Service, and then I went over to the Pentagon, and I crossed over to an intelligence analyst. And during that time, I deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq, did that a few times, satellite communications for the warfighter. And I came back to Texas to stay with my family. And we settled down into New Braunfels, and I fell in love with New Braunfels. I really did. The quiet town, the charm. And that's why we're here. It's been a little close to 11 years. And I'm running for mayor because I kind of feel like that small town charm is just going away. And I believe that we need to step in and we need to slow it down. We need to take care of our water. I believe the whole region is in trouble when it comes to water. It's not just the drought, but it's the overdevelopment. And I believe
Thank
we need
you.
to capture that. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lenartz, your 1-minute opening statement.
Thank you, Claire, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for this forum. I'm the current mayor, and we have an absolutely wonderful city, and we've been making it better with small incremental changes by balancing our budget and keeping our taxes low. I believe in freedom. I believe in property rights. I believe in limited government while also keeping our taxes low and keeping a balanced budget for our city. I support capitalism, entrepreneurship, and small businesses, and believe in continued investment for environmental conservation, so continued investment in green space. I believe we should stick to our strategic plan, which is laid out by the citizens and stakeholders of our community. And if we do that, we can keep making incremental change. I'm Neil Lenartz. I'm the current mayor, the most qualified candidate, and I look forward to serving my constituents for another 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lenartz. The first question goes to you. If elected, how would you as mayor preserve a sense of community in New Braunfels?
Yeah, so what makes New Braunfels unique is our downtown area and green, those unique facades, the small town feel of downtown and green. And so we've got to work to preserve those historic structures, and that involves both making sure that we apply our ordinances to preserve historic structures, as well as working with developers when they come to our community to make sure that they're going to preserve those assets as there's infill in the community. We also do this through a lot of our community festivals. We have Worst Fest, we have Wassel Fest, and here in a few weeks we're going to have Sanger Fest. And these little festivals in our community give us the small town charm. It allows everybody to come out. We shut down the streets and enjoy the culture, the heritage of our town. And so it's continuing to do these things, preserving those historical assets, preserving those facades. That's what's important, and that's what I'll continue to work on when I'm reelected. Thank you.
Mr. French, if elected, how would you as mayor preserve a sense of community in New Braunfels?
Well, for one thing, I believe that the charm of New Braunfels is slowly going away. We're building too much, and we have plans in the city to start building big buildings, and that's going to kill the charm. The big buildings they have designed right now, if you look at some of the architectural designs, um, they don't look really that great. The facade of these buildings, um, like I said, it was something out of Alexandria, Virginia. It just is straight. I don't think it looks good. The facade doesn't resemble New Braunfels at all. But I think we need to. I know you have Wassel Fest and Zenger Fest, but my main thing is to keep that small town look, that charm. And the citizens that I've talked to for a long time, and this is my second time actually running, is they want to have this city slow down in the growth. And I want to do that. I want to slow it down. Whatever I have to do to make sure that we don't. I use the word uglify. I believe the town is growing too fast, but in a wrong way. There could be a right way if you want to grow fast, but please let it look good. You know, whatever buildings you put in there, make sure it looks and resembles like it's supposed to be in New Braunfels, and that's just something you want to build. So my main thing is I want to slow it down. I want to make sure everything that is built there looks good and looks like it's in place in New Braunfels. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you. This question is similar and it will go first to Mr. French. New Braunfels is a growing city with hill country charm. How would you balance preserving the city's historic character, neighborhoods, and green space with infill development and infrastructure?
Okay, the one thing about green space, and I did read we're 73% built out, which that means we have about 27% before we completely build out the whole interior of the limits of the city. I want to keep as much green as possible. I believe that the city in the state of Texas, New Braunfels, I believe belongs a small city. That's my vision of the city. Now, growing bigger, maybe you can grow bigger outside of the city limits, but I want to make sure we keep our historical heritage, all of them. Now, we do have the German heritage, we got the Hispanic heritage, the Spanish heritage, all of that. I want to see more of that. I want to see land and area beautification. I want to see more money put into making the beautiful city more beautiful. It's something I see that is going away. And I know I may be veering away from the question, but I believe that the culture in the city is disappearing when you completely destroy it by too much building, and the infrastructure can't even handle it. The infrastructure is not even there. The roads have to be widened. We passed a bond for $100-something million to start widening the roads, fixing intersections, just to catch up to our development and our development plans. Our water, we're spending a tremendous amount of money on water for the infrastructure of water because I truly believe the future of our water is in deep trouble. I know we have a plan for the next 50 years, but with all these data centers coming into our region, I believe that's going to mess our plan up within 10 years. These data centers are going to completely destroy the whole region or the whole state of Texas. And I believe that Texas Water Development Board better look into that. And I believe that's all I got on that question there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Lenartz, New Braunfels is a growing city with hill country charm. How would you balance preserving the city's historic character, neighborhoods, and green space with infill development and infrastructure?
Yeah, thanks, Claire. So something that was launched shortly after my last election was a land development ordinance rewrite. And so we're in the process of rewriting all of our land development ordinances to protect our community as we do get built out, and that includes historic preservation and protection of our existing facades in downtown and green. But also, I'm a big supporter of green space and parks. And during the last 3 years, I worked with Dr. Willard and Colleen Willard and got them to donate 10 acres of their property to the city as a park. And we built that out as a hiking trail. And we've also worked with a couple of families on the northeast side of town to acquire a little over 130 acres of parkland that we're currently master planning, but it'll be the largest park in our park system here in New Braunfels. So super excited to be able to add that space to our community. And then something else that we realized since I got in office, we get complaints frequently about right-of-ways that need to be mowed or trash that needs to be picked up in right-of-ways. And most of the time they're TxDOT right-of-ways. And so rather than waiting for TxDOT, which they only do it about every 6 months, we budgeted for this beautification crew. And so rather than waiting 6 months for TxDOT to come around and clean up right-of-ways, we're doing it on a regular basis every 2 weeks. So really excited to be able to do that for New Braunfels. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lenartz, the next question will go to you. New Braunfels has been experiencing ongoing significant drought conditions since 2021. How should city leaders use their influence and available tools to help protect and sustain New Braunfels' locally controlled water as the city grows and drought continues?
Yeah, thank you, Claire. We need to pray for rain. We need to pray real hard for rain. So there is almost a drought of record. We anticipate it will exceed the drought of record if it continues for the next year or so. And it's affecting our tourism industry. So it does have an effect on our economy. However, NBU and leaders in the past did an amazing job of planning for droughts and for the growth of our city. And so we are close to being built out. So within the next approximately 8 to 10 years, New Braunfels will be built out. And over the last 6 years, our water usage has remained absolutely flat. And so they're not only diverse, but they're in quantities that will support us even in a drought of record. So while we have 50,000 acre feet of water, 34 of that is firm. So that means even in a drought of record, the water has to be available. And we've consistently over the last 6 years used 16,000 acre feet of water. So we're using half of our firm yield of water. So we're not in a situation where if you turn on your faucet, no water is going to come out. We're in great shape there. But we do need to pray for rain because, yeah, we do need to pray for rain. It's definitely affecting our economy. It's affecting our tourism industry, but we're not in a situation where if we go to turn on the faucet, no water will come out. We're in great shape due to past planning by community leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. French. New Braunfels has been experiencing ongoing significant drought conditions since 2021. How should city leaders use their influence and available tools to help protect and sustain New Braunfels' locally controlled water as the city grows and drought continues?
Well, I do believe the drought probably will last for another 5 years. This drought is really, really bad. This summer is going to be completely horrendous. But we've been in water restrictions for, I want to say, ever since I've been here, close to 10 years. We went to 3, we went to 2. But I think that, NBU did come out with a 50-year plan. And the plan looks good. It actually has the right numbers in it. It looks really good. I'm kind of impressed. But the one thing I do see is it an actual real plan? I want to let people know there's something called paper water. And that is something that actually looks tremendous on paper. It looks like it's going to blow you away, your whole mind. But is it real? Is it actually there? When we're in water restrictions and we have enough water to develop for the next 50 years, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I do see the Canyon Lake is extremely bad. I care so much about Canyon Lake. I feel so bad for it. I feel so bad for about, the economy down there. People depend on Canyon Lake, but it's disappearing. The water's receded about 1,500 feet. You look straight up when you walk to the water, 23 to 20 feet above you, the water used to be. The Edwards Aquifer is at level 4, is the worst in history. And so we're developing in this whole region, in this city, and we're not minding our water. Our water is not filling back up. When we grow on top of recharge zones, we are scraping the land up and then we're putting cement there. The water's being captured in sewer systems instead of put back into the earth. Uh, the Edwards Aquifer is not going to, fill up anytime soon. So I believe that we need to put out new plans, something like a 10-year plan. I don't believe in 50-year plans. It's very nice, but I look at that as paper water. It looks very good on paper, but it's in actuality, is it there? I would like to see something where we work with the state, and I want to get with desalination plants. Okay, sorry.
Thank you. Our next question will be for you, Mr. French.
Okay.
The city's downtown electronic parking system was implemented in 2025. Residents have raised concerns with the parking system, including the length of the free parking period and the system's accessibility and complexity. Would you support any changes to the current system? If so, what changes do you support?
Okay, right now, 6 months ago, I had an answer like, let's go half and half. Let's deal with what the citizens want and what the city wants. But after looking at all the small businesses that were driven out and a lot of concerns with the citizens saying that they just don't like it, and it kind of offends them, even though it's the first hour is free and it's $2 the next hour, it offends them to use it. And my dad, especially in older generations, they don't have a phone like we use right now. They just have a flip phone. But I am not happy with an out of state company taking at least maybe 50 to 60% of all the revenue. And I want to know where the rest of it is going. So we got at least $600,000 in revenue from all the parking fees and fines. I want to know where the rest of that money is going. But I believe we should have invented a company right here in this city if we wanted to do this. And 100% of the money should put back into this community. But I think that I want to take out all the parking. That's just me, and a lot of other people agree with me. I want to, and a lot of businesses too. Some of them, they couldn't handle not having the frequent, the regulars that come in all the time. They stopped going, and that's including me. I had about 1,200 people in a group. It was the Adventure Club. When we go down into Braunfels to frequent the small businesses, we don't do that anymore. No one wants to pay for parking. And the thing is, I don't like it, and I want to get rid of it. That's my plan for the parking situation downtown. Paid parking is no good in my eyes. It does not. It feels like you're in a prison. Me, I don't like it. And downtown New Braunfels, the small charm, paying for parking is just not the way to go. And Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is the city that gets a lot of the revenue from our downtown parking. Interstate Parking is the company that's taking the money. I think that was a bad idea. It should have been, if you wanted parking, do something from in town, a $300 website or something like that. But I think it was a bad idea.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Lenartz, the city's downtown electronic parking system was implemented in 2025. Residents have raised concerns with the system, including the length of the free parking period and the system's accessibility and complexity. Would you support any changes to the current system? And if so, what changes would you support?
Thank you, Claire. So this all came about because nobody could find parking downtown. It was all being utilized by the employees of the shop owners. And without being able to enforce that, it left the shop owners with nowhere for their patrons to park. And so this whole managed parking program came about from demand from the downtown business owners. They were the ones that drove this. The city worked closely with the Downtown Association, along with all the other business owners downtown. And social media has been the big thorn in the side for this program because people have spread a lot of misinformation about the program. So the paid spots are only the 256 spots that are in most high demand that are on San Antonio and Castell Street, roughly 2 blocks from the main plaza. Those are the most high demand spots. And the idea for the program is not to raise money, but to cause turnover. The shop owners need turnover in these spots for their patrons to come in and have a place to park. And so there are 1,080 free parking spaces if you're willing to walk 1 to 2 blocks. So most of the parking is actually free, but social media, people have spread all kinds of misinformation. So anytime I hear anybody speaking negatively of the program, I explain it to them. And once they hear the facts, they say, oh, that's not so bad. Sounds like a great program. So I think it's working. We've appointed a committee so that city council doesn't have to monitor this constantly. And the committee met last week and they reviewed the plan up to this point. And they said, we don't recommend making any changes. So until the committee wants to make changes, I don't recommend any changes to the program.
Thank you. Mr. Lenartz, the next question will go to you first. If you could change one thing in New Braunfels zoning code, what would it be and why?
One of my kind of pet projects when I got elected last time was I believe in conservation. And so I've been working on trying to amend the ordinances to require new development to use more xeriscaping and drought tolerant landscaping. And so about 2 weeks after I was elected last time, I sat down with MBU's conservation staff and we started working on a proposed ordinance, and it's worked its way through the Citizens Advisory Panel that MBU has. And they took it up 2 or 3 months ago, and then they sent a recommendation to the New Braunfels Utilities Board of Directors to adopt this ordinance, which would require new development to use at least 50% xeriscape or drought tolerant landscaping, and would limit the turf grass to 50%. And while I'd love to see it go even further, this is kind of an incremental baby step towards conservation. And so right now with the city, I mentioned earlier, we're working on a land development ordinance. And so the city is working on incorporating this change into the zoning codes into that land development ordinance. So yeah, if there's one thing I could change, this has kind of been a pet project of mine, is to try to encourage conservation. And so I've been working on getting this ordinance passed so that we can limit the amount of turf grass and encourage people to use more drought tolerant landscapes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. French, if you could change one thing in New Braunfels zoning code, what would it be and why?
I agree with the zoning that Mr. Lenartz, our mayor, had said. We have to get into that xeriscape. We have to do it. And when you do use turf, AstroTurf, you have cement below the AstroTurf, and that's not going to work because the cement is supposed to be something that recharges, the ground with any rainwater. The one thing I have a problem with rezoning, however, is I think that when land is sold and land is bought by developers and the rezoning plans, they go through City Hall. I think we need to slow it down. I really do. I want to capture how many rezoning requests come through City Hall. I believe the number, it may be 30 or 40 a month, but I think that we need to slow it down. We're growing. The numbers keep fluctuating about the third fastest growing city, the second fastest growing city in the United States. I believe it dropped down to 8. It just keeps fluctuating. But why do we have to be so growing so fast? And the rezoning is what keeps it at a high capacity. I want to make sure that zoning requests go down to something less. I want houses with land. I don't like houses stacked on top of each other. I don't like apartment complexes going up everywhere. We have like 3 developments of 6 to 10 buildings going up a year, and we have so much commercial going on. This small town charm that everyone loves and talks about is just going away. It's something like if I wanted to go to the outer limits of San Antonio or Austin, this is what New Braunfels is turning into. And we have to capture the types of rezoning that goes on. You know, there's a couple friends of mine that are farmers that were forced off their land because of high rates of taxes, property taxes, and that they can't water their land, and they're forced to sell it. And so they're selling it to developers that do whatever they want with it, and rezoning for high capacity or commercial.
Thank you. Okay, thank you both. Next are your closing remarks. Mr. Lenartz, you will go first. You will each have 1 minute. Mr. Lenartz, your closing remarks.
Well, thank you, Claire. I appreciate y'all having us here today. Again, I'm the current mayor. I'm the most qualified candidate for the job, and I intend to continue to apply basic Republican principles of freedom and property rights. I will continue to support capitalism, entrepreneurship, and our small businesses. I'll keep making incremental improvements to the services and infrastructure within our city while keeping a balanced budget and keeping taxes low. We've actually lowered or kept our taxes flat over the last 3 years. And we want to make development pay for development. So if a developer comes in, we're going to make them pay the maximum impact fees allowed by law. And we've adopted a thoroughfare plan to make them pay for the impact they're going to have on our roads and dedicate those roads and build those roads. So again, I look forward to serving my constituents for another 3 years. Thank you for having us, Claire. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you. Mr. French, your closing remarks.
Yes, I just want to say that I really love this city, and I love the people in it, and I love what they want, and that is a small New Braunfels look. And more than just everything that we've talked about, we have to get a hold of our small businesses, and we have to help them out a lot. We have to make sure that the Economic Development Corporation concentrates more on the small businesses and box stores. They've gotten a lot of money and tax breaks. So I don't like making sure that we invest our time and money into giant box stores and that are worth $400 million. But our city is in a tremendous amount of debt, of principal debt of $350 million, and our revenue debt for utilities and everything was about $548 million. So we're about $902 million in the red. We owe people things, and I need to make sure that people in City Hall are fiscally responsible, because that sort of stuff is going to catch up. It really is going to catch up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates, for your participation. A reminder to voters, early voting begins April 20th. The League's online nonpartisan election information and resource links, including local ballot items, are currently available via our website, LWV-Comal.org, and at vote411.org. If you put your home address into vote411.org, you can see the issues and candidates that will be on your ballot, compare candidate responses to League questions, and much more. This ends our recording.